It can look easy. Gamegenic, ingenious supplies.
Game Night!
Hello and welcome to Game Night's 2025 Spiel des Jahres special, where we are going to talk about the 6 games, 3 nominated for the Spiel des Jahres and 3 nominated for the Kennerspiel des Jahres, and we are going to pick the games that we would choose if we were on the jury and the games that we would choose that they think that the jury is going to select. We have Bombbusters from Hisashi Hayashi and Pegasus Spiele. We have Crackle Oracle from designed by Seven Bozzies, and we have Flip 7 designed by Eric Olsen and published by the Op. I don't remember who's doing it in Europe or in Germany. And for the Kennerspiels, we have Faraway designed by Johannes Guppy, Corentin Lebrat, and Maxime Morin, and published by Pandasaurus and Ketchup Games in France. And we have Loot designed by Charles Chevalier and Laurent Escoffier and published by Gamegenic. And we have Endeavor Deep Sea by Carl de Visser and Jarrett Gray and published by Burnt Island Games and Grand Gamers Guild. And I feel like it's a pretty amazing year. Like, the kids' games are pretty awesome, and once again, these are all pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Nikki, why don't you start us off with one that you would like to speak about?
Okay, which category do we want to start with?
Let's do the Kenners first, since this is the big award. Yeah?
Okay. Let's start with Loot.
Okay.
Loot.
How many O's am I supposed to
I know.
pronounce?
I typed it
There's
over and over, and it was
3,
always one O,
like-
either too many or
many
too
or too
little.
much.
I could
Oh,
not
I
believe
thought
it.
maybe you were going to say like autocorrect kept getting
No,
rid of.
no, that did.
I always,
Yeah.
I want to put in a few more. I always want to call it loot.
And an exclamation mark. I
Yeah.
kept expecting an exclamation mark. But yeah.
All right, loot.
Okay. I kind of liked this game. Well,
I hope so.
here's the thing. I don't particularly care for cutthroat games. This has got some.
It can be.
It can be pretty cutthroat. So this is one of those games where, depending on the group you play with and all of that kind of stuff, I like the laying of the tiles and the building out from the shore to collect the different things you need for your own player board. Even though you're working on your own player board, there is a lot of player interaction on the main board for grabbing the resources. So I liked all of that for that game.
I think Christoph had it right. He's like, it's not necessarily a mean game. You just have to be mean sometimes to get what you want. And sometimes it's inadvertent, right? You don't realize that you're blocking someone. There is an element in that game where you are either connecting locations or surrounding. Locations to collect either towers or castles. You know, but I mean, I'll get to my niggle that I realized I kind of don't like the game as much as I really did. Aaron, what do you think of this? I know it was new to you. You only got to play it recently.
Right, and I don't think I've played it as much as maybe some of you have, but I agree with Nikki that it actually has a good mix of your personal player board and competitive placement on the main board. I sort of think we're seeing, or for a long time we've been seeing a trend of like very personal tableau games where there's very little player interaction, and the only player interaction is like action selection order or like buying cards from a middle market kind of stuff. And so there's a little more competition, a little more placement jockeying, and like Christoph from the jury might have said, you can be mean in this game, which I think it's not important. It's not something you have to have, but it gets rarer and rarer, it seems like sometimes. So I do appreciate that that's at least... It's at least something
cooperative
that
things
can be
really
present in
get rid of
this
that,
game. Which in a game about Vikings landing on, islands to raid and trade, you should at least have some sort of competitive
I thought they
methods.
were environmentalists.
They are environmental.
What do you think, Mike?
Sure.
You'll find out soon why they're environmentalists. I enjoy loot. I'm more the aspect that it is a fairly mean game, first come, first served. I was saying it was similar to Rebirth, a Kinesia game that came out this year, which wasn't nominated because it actually wasn't released in Germany yet, but will be available next year. Same ideas, same mechanics.
Really?
I think it's mean. I think loot is mean as well. I do like that it's quick. It's 45 minutes or less. The theme is cool. The art's cool. But yeah, it can give you that bad taste sometimes if you're a little much cutthroat. It's not cooperative. That's for sure.
Well, in our discussion of it when we played it, I feel that. So I've played it a couple times now, and when we played it on the video for these videos here, I felt that I didn't like the randomization of those tiles.
Yes,
because
the long ships.
Basically,
Yes.
it makes some of those things like almost impossible to get. Where now we played it again. Nikki, I think we played it 3 times now. We played it again where we were 2 players, and we actually did something wrong, right? In that one, we were both doing the same location on the towers. So
Okay.
realizing that, I could have made it work the other way too, and probably still had the same result. And then Nikki could have gotten hers, but I blocked her from getting one of the towers that she needed. And then again, the next time, another game that we played, I missed like something. I think I accidentally just, it's the one thing about turning them over. I don't even know if you're supposed to, but when we're done, we turn them over so you don't think about them anymore.
Right.
And then I realized I didn't do something I needed to do on that. And I still won that game. And I was like, this is kind of weird, right? I feel like when people are doing all this effort, and so maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that solves my problem with the game where it's like, you don't have to worry about that one that you got. You don't get sick. Because I played one game where I needed, maybe on the video, where I had to have 6 houses or huts.
Oh, yeah.
And that's hard because
Yes.
you have to really move across the board to get to the other ones if you're even going to go for it. So basically, it's not all one building, of course, that needs 6 huts. So you could, prioritize the ones that are going to be giving you more points and stuff like that.
Yeah. If you want to, again, this is probably at the end of the Kennerspiel, level, but the rules do have a distribution of all the long ships, so you can play. You can try to figure out what might be left and what you might take to help you decide which of the bonus point chips you might want to focus on. I guess a little advanced for your first couple of games.
Right.
There's a little more control in that, but it's not clear your first game, especially if you haven't played yet.
Well, Aaron, why don't you pick our next game of the Kennerspiel nominees?
Okay, well, let's go to Faraway because I was actually going to link the two just a little bit.
Sure.
I view them somewhat similarly, both in opinion that I think they're both fine games, but not fantastic games that I myself would have picked for jury awards to spoil my choice a little bit already. But I do think they're both just very clean systems, very almost easy to teach, simple rules. They're very easy to understand your options in front of you. They're both very cleanly designed and like easy to show. I think they're both elegant in a way. I actually like the art and sort of the presentation of Faraway just a little bit more. Although I might think Loot is a more fun and competitive and heavy game. But I think that both of them sort of present really well. Just
The reverse thing is
when you're getting them out on
is insane too. The
That's-
first time you
yeah.
play, you're just like,
That's
what?
that's my main compliment for Faraway. So for those of you who don't know, you play 8 cards in Faraway
Correct.
tiles,
I think so.
Correct.
and some additional cards possibly as well, and then you flip them all over and score in reverse order. You score your last card first, flipping it over, and then then the 7th one, then the 6th one.
To
You're
fulfill those,
scoring
it's things that are visible
Right.
that will allow you to score that
So
point.
the
So
very
basically, your last
first-
card needs to be the easiest
That's
card.
Right,
to
and your very first one is going to see is going to have every icon
Right.
you ever played visible, but you don't know what those are yet.
Right.
You picked that card first way back at the beginning
Well,
of the
you
game.
you can build a little bit,
Sure.
which is nice, but
But-
yeah,
But it
it's
could
an
also be your
interesting
highest
strategy.
scoring
Like, go
card
for your-
because it sees everything on the board. Anyway, that mechanism is fantastic and brilliant, and I kind of wish that the rest of the game measured up to it.
Okay.
The rest of the game is a little dry and boring to me.
Right.
I don't think it's a bad game. It's just not a game that I would like recommend to people. Like, you got to play this game. It's so innovative and amazing. I just think it's a really cool idea in a fairly standard game.
Sure.
What do you think,
Mike? Yeah. I'm taking you right.
No. So I'm going to say that the recommended game, The Gang, I love, and I'm a little sad that it didn't get on the top 3. But
That's the
neither here nor there.
Hold'em poker co-op.
That's right. Yeah. So Faraway, I love the art. I like the theme about it. I like drafting. I think, as you said, I think the scoring mechanic is very interesting. I'm less enamored with the game. I've taught it, without some help a couple times, and it's hard for me to teach and hard for me to score. It's hard to explain to new players exactly what to do. And I had that problem in my first game as well. So maybe it's just me, but I do think it's unique, but it's more complicated and it's a little more challenging to get in a good game. Maybe you need to play it twice in a row of Faraway, but it is an interesting idea, though.
What do you think, Nick?
Kind of almost everything else that they've been saying. The going down the line and then doing it backwards is really interesting, really unique. I still haven't grasped it very well. I always think I'm doing it right, and then when we go the backwards way, I'm like, "Ugh, I reversed this and I shouldn't have done that." But for a unique, interesting card game, simple thing, it works. It is an interesting place in what they have chosen for the jury has chosen for the games. This one is something I would have thought would have ended up on a recommended list versus it feels a little more of a gamery game than the next step from the family level game to
I think that's all changed.
the next
though.
level. Yeah, I still
Think in the terms
think
of what they
in
used
the
to do,
terms
yeah.
of that.
Yeah, it's the old way.
So yeah.
But I look at it that the Kennerspiels need to be the next game up that you.
Well, that was my rationale last year, and they picked Daybreak, which I think is actually one of the more advanced. It is the most advanced game of those games last
It
year.
absolutely is,
Yeah.
and when we get to Endeavor Deep Sea, we can do some
Yeah, yeah.
comparisons.
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
do think that Daybreak is more straightforward than Endeavor Deep Sea for teaching it.
I like this game. I had the first play is always going to be hard.
Sure.
Like, no matter what you do, you're not going to get it. You basically really need to play it twice so that your lessons learned maybe will make an impact and you can actually do better the second game. We did not do that when we played this, but I do believe I won at least one of these games where I was able to do you're gonna fail some of the cards, no
Yes.
doubt. You have to get past that part and just once again specialize and hope that you can play off of other cards and that you build enough of the types of things that you need to finish those cards. Because I think I did something where I was able to, the game that I might have won, to pick first a lot. Maybe it's playing the lower number, is that what it is, or the higher number, one of the two. And I think that was kind of neat because I was like, oh, instead of escalating, try to reset. This is the one where you screw up, reset and go back to a lower number type of a thing. And that was kind of like the eye-opening part of the game for me. And I don't know that I would pick it even as a nominee, but I think it's pretty neat. And I do feel neat lessons are learned from this game.
Yes.
It is something I feel you don't necessarily have in any other game like that. We were talking that we played another game where you score backwards, and we cannot for the life of us remember what it was.
If you remember,
Yeah,
tell us in the
put it-
comments.
put it in the
please.
comments.
I think
But-
there's a very similar
Yeah.
one.
It's not the same, but it's the same idea where you're like, oh, you know what I mean, type of thing. But
Yeah.
this one was way more challenging than that one. I think you had more information on the other one.
I think it's not scoring, but you play a bunch of cards and then you activate them in reverse.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something.
Again, I still have no
It's-
idea
Yeah.
what game
This was
it is.
really
but
innovative.
someone will tell us.
Right.
Please.
Yeah. Okay.
Please tell us
If
what
you
game
remember, I'm sure
we're all
somebody
sort
does.
of thinking of.
Okay, well, we're now down to the last one. I guess I could start off with
Yeah,
Endeavor.
go for
Yeah.
it. Please do it, Lincoln.
I really think Endeavor's amazing. Nikki and I had the opportunity to play it early. I think it's very close to the final product. It is absolutely one of those games where you so want to do so much and you cannot do everything each turn. And again, you need to specialize. And I think it's one of the things that benefits this game more than like Loot. It's probably too complex. Mike has said that he thinks it's more complex than Daybreak, and I would likely agree. You know, Daybreak is a cooperative game. I love the message. I mean, same kind of message here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was really impressed. And this is the same. They used a tray that is paper pulp.
Yeah.
And by a company that
Right,
is
there's
known for
no-
doing the blown plastic stuff.
There's
And
no
I'm like,
plastic
this is
stuff in
so
here.
exciting to me
It
to
is.
do this because it is, you know, we use sleeves on the show and, you know, you kind of want to protect games that are going to get a lot of handling, so
Right.
that's understandable. But I'd like everything else to not be a bunch of plastic, and this game is absolutely like that. But I just love the whole theme. I love the exploration. I love going deeper, and there's benefits, but there's risk to doing that because you may not get what you want. And I like that there's a lot of things to look at, and you kind of have to narrow your focus a little bit potentially. But trying to keep those your research stuff all balanced, you know, yeah, is important. It unfortunately hurt Nikki in the game we played, but it's important. You know, you really need to do your best. We played a game that was our season closer last season, Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing, where you really need to keep
The balance.
You need to try to keep them all going, and you got to try. There's pitfalls on that track too, which is amazing. But yeah, I think this is a really phenomenal game. What do you think, Nick?
I really like this game. The art in it just makes me want to dive deeper and
Yeah.
see more of those cards. I don't think I would get tired of them playing multiple times. I love all of the interesting ways they've worked in scoring systems and on the diving cards. You know, there's a conservation and there's sonar stuff, and
Oh, yeah,
I just
things you can do in
like all
research
the
and-
different sorts of things that you can do on one of the cards of
Yeah.
the ocean. The interesting creating your team
Yeah.
of guys
crew
and
members
your
and
crew
that is
members
cool.
in
Yep.
front of you is a really interesting mechanic for the game. You're all choosing from the same pool, sort of, depending upon your level on your player board, and that's being passed around the table. And it is a little limited, but I don't think. Can you go in at any point and try to get somebody and it's just not there?
Yeah, they're limited.
Okay.
You can
I
run
would
out.
say that on maybe level 1 or level 2 specialists that happens sometimes, and then
Okay.
maybe the level 5 specialist you
Well,
want
those
is
are
taken.
always, yeah.
But rare,
But
much
it's
less in
rare
this
for-
game than
Yeah.
Endeavor Age of Sail.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mike?
I think it's a fantastic game. I really like the Endeavor mechanics, and I do like the cooperative parts of Endeavor Deep Sea. I do like the competition of the earlier game as well, but the tiles, the replayability, all the missions are different, and we only saw 2 today. But there's, as you said, the Fallen Star. You can go down. There's another one with the whales. Each mission's different. Each gives you a different flavor in the game, and there's so many different ways to play if you want to play co-op or by yourself. It's great. It is more complicated than
Yeah.
the other 2 games here, and it's a longer teach. I think the game's mechanics and actions are straightforward, but getting there takes a while.
What do you think, Aaron?
I actually never played Endeavor Age of Sail, so I'm coming to this as a brand new game, knowing nothing about the systems. But I also love it and feel very similar to everybody else. It's a game that's right up my alley. It's a really cool theme. I like putting your crew together. You know, the deep sea art as you go deeper is amazing. And yeah, like Nikki said, all the different sort of types of actions on each of those tiles. it all gels together in a really fun game. Something that and almost everybody I know who's liked the game even a little bit wants to explore all of those 10 scenarios and find out how they work and play them all co-op and competitive and solo. And the only drawback is maybe your first game is kind of hard to wrap your head around, like Faraway, except that it takes 2 or 3 hours and you're gonna just blow your first game by not understanding how all the systems work together, and then play another game where you actually like make it all work.
Faraway is 30 minutes, as you
And this
said,
is,
30 minutes per player.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
We didn't get to talk about for Endeavor Deep Sea has 3 mini expansions plus
a new expansion
coming
with
out.
your
Oh,
Kickstarter.
nice.
It does support up to 5 players with a minor rule change, minor rule
okay.
tweak as well. So there's ways to increase it as well.
Well, Aaron, why don't you lead us into the next category here? These are the
All right,
SDJs.
so we're back over to the main award, the regular SDJ.
Yeah.
Let's start. Let's just go this way. Let's start with
Oh,
Flip 7.
you killed the
These
greatest
were
case.
so nicely.
It was all on grid. Let's start with Flip 7.
Okay.
So as when I introduce this to people, and I have taught this and shown this to lots of people who have picked it up right away and went out and bought their own copies, or I've gifted them copies.
Your mom,
It's a-
right? Was doing that.
My mom, my aunt, my cousin, my brother-in-law. It's like
Okay.
it's a fever hit. It's wildfire. But it's just sort of like multiplayer blackjack is the way to sell it in 2 words.
Okay.
So it's and it's like Strike, a game that we probably did in like season 2.
Yeah.
Love
I think
Strike.
that was a few years after.
Okay,
maybe
season
3
4,
or so,
season
yeah.
that's a dice game that a lot of us enjoy a lot.
Yeah.
And the gaming world has strong opinions on it, pro and con. But it's like
awesome
It's,
place,
it's an awesome game. It's an incredible game. But it's almost complete luck, just
yeah.
like Flip 7.
Yeah.
But it's infectious fun, and almost
Yeah.
everybody. And yes, you can lose Flip 7 through basically zero fault of your own, just like you can lose Strike by rolling an X every single time it's your turn. But it's so much fun almost all the time, and a long game of Flip 7 is 15 or 20 minutes.
Sure.
And and like I'm saying, like it's a game for families on vacation or gamers at game conventions. We recently went to BGG Con, and it was a game of choice for tables of 4 to 10 people. I think it says it maybe only takes 6 on the box.
No, I don't
Oh,
think
no,
there-
no,
it
no,
doesn't-
no limit.
There is
Okay.
no
No
limit. Yeah.
limit.
Well, I was going to say,
Add more sets.
you don't need to. You don't. No, I don't think you're really supposed to do that because of the card distribution. Does it say you can do that? Okay,
Yeah.
well, great.
Unlimited players.
And
There's 200
every time
cards
there
in
was
the game, too.
downtime
Yeah.
between games, people were like, "Well, let's play Flip 7," and they would hit the table, and people would. It's so easy to get into and so easy to play for all age groups and all skill levels and all game types. So, as soon as I saw it and you guys taught it to me, I was like, "Well, this is a hit."
Yeah.
Even that was long before the Spiel.
Yeah, and I was
so.
very excited it got nominated. What do you think, Mike?
Well, first off, it's the greatest card game
I
of
know,
all
I was
time.
gonna- you
That's
beat
me
I'm
to
sorry.
the punch,
Oh
yeah.
wow!
Yeah.
I mean,
and
they-
watch me teach it on a previous episode
Yeah.
of Game Night.
It is confident in its greatness.
Yeah, it's a great game. It's really infectious. I'm really glad I got to learn about it at Gen Con last year, even though it goes one of the games I was looking at. I still want to call it the OP, but the OP, I'm really glad that the game is
It
out.
wasn't even the OP. OP was the shorts. It
Yes,
was,
well,
know.
USA Opoly, yeah.
Yeah. So easy to teach, fun to play. As you and I were talking about it, it's similar in the same idea as Can't Stop, but I think it's a little easier to figure out. Should I hit or should
Well,
I
and
not?
more people can play, which I really
Yeah.
love.
Yeah. But I
Right.
do like dice rolling too. I
Yeah.
think it's
Right,
great.
right.
What do you
I
think,
think it's
Nick?
great.
It scratches that itch of a fun, fast, easy game to play and to teach. It's one of those games that you can pull out anywhere with, I think, any group of people. It's really simple. You get to the numbers you want or you don't. You get frozen or you get an extra chance to revive yourself if you get one of those cards. It's just really simple. And I did watch people playing it at
BG Spring.
BGG Spring, like families and groups of people, and everyone just got into it. They were cheering for each other, they were booing for each other, but but it was fun.
Yeah.
It wasn't like some frustrating, weird game. Everybody was just into it, you know?
Yep.
I'm a big Push Your Luck fan. I think it's one of the greatest recent games like this. I mean, we were mentioning Can't Stop. Push Your Luck, another fantastic Push Your Luck game. What I love, though, in this game is one card. One card, one card, one card, one card. It moves super quickly. You can have, with Can't Stop, which is truly one of my favorite games, somebody could just keep going.
Could just go on a
because
long
they might
run.
just be
Sure,
so
sure.
lucky, doing the
Yeah.
Sherman's March, as Dave calls it, down the center of the board. Yeah.
7.
Yeah.
But I just love that it's one card.
Yeah,
Now, there
yeah.
are some cards, as they show here, that change things potentially,
Yeah.
but it's still pretty darn quick. You
Yep.
do have to make a decision if you, where you're going to put it. Well, yeah, who you send that to pick flip 3, and who you might freeze. But that's cool. I actually think they add the just enough complexity to make this more of an
Right.
interesting game for me. But I still think I'd have fun with just the flipping 7, right? But
Yeah.
I love this element. You might want to play that flip 3 on yourself because you don't have any
Yes,
cards,
right.
How
And
many
it's like-
times did I do it and bust?
Yeah.
All the
Oh,
time.
I
But I've
busted
seen,
all
people, I've seen people play it on themselves and just benefit every single
Yeah,
time.
the other thing is just trying to get to 7. We didn't say you got to try to get to the flipping 7 means if you get 7 cards and you don't bust, you get a bonus. It's not massive, but it's 15
right.
points.
But it is a lot.
Yeah.
But it's
And
also very risky.
It also does that.
Yeah.
It ends the round.
It
It ends the
round.
round. It
So-
stops everyone
yeah.
else. Exactly.
So it's pretty amazing. Nikki, why don't you take us to the next one?
Okay. Crackle.
Oracle? Yep.
At first, when I heard about this one, I hadn't even seen the box or anything, and I was just like, another drawing game? Okay. What can you do to a drawing game to make it interesting and different? And I think that they did it. You still get cards to choose from for categories and things like that, but what makes this one very interesting is all these weird dotted swirly lines on the boards, and that is what you have to do. You get a category and you have to draw something to get people to get to that category by following all these weird loop-de-loop and crossed dotted lines. You can't just draw a picture. I've played with people who got so detailed on the dotted lines, it was amazing, yet the detail level was too hard to
Distracting,
figure
yeah.
it out.
Yeah.
So
Some of them are really obvious. I played that game too with them.
Yeah, in some ways, the simpler drawing kind of gets you to the category, the word that you need. But I thought that it was interesting to do that, and it takes away the fear from the people that
people
feel
who are-
like they can't
draw. That's
Yeah.
exactly
right?
what it is.
Because it is what you got.
It narrows that skill gap exactly.
Right. The other thing that was interesting about it is that the boards are double-sided, and you use the one board one time, and then you're going to pass it around the table, so you're going to get another board with a bunch of different loop-de-loops and circles.
What do you think, Aaron? I know it was a new one for you.
Yeah, again, I haven't played it much like some of these, but and like Nikki, I thought that's it. It's another drawing game. It is a lot more fun than you sort of expect. It has a weird disconnect between. I would say this is almost the game that reading the rules gives you the least picture of what the game is going to be like.
Okay.
It's almost impossible to tell, like, okay, so what is this game because
be?
because it doesn't really
Yeah.
have illustrations or pictures of how to play, and like it just does you draw on the lines and pick a card that you think someone else drew. But it is a lot of fun. It's a very quick, easy activity, and the figure on the cover is about as accurate as your drawings are going to get, but it's possible to play very accurately with what you're given. I think is this version available in the US, or is this just okay?
No.
Here's my main criticism. If you bring this to the US, give it a new name.
Oh, yeah.
Call it. Here's my pitch: Marker Masterpiece.
Okay.
Well, the
I
name
love
is-
it.
the name
It's
is-
so much better. Like
Yeah.
The
okay.
name is Scribble Oracle.
Okay,
So
that's fine.
Yeah.
But like, this is not understandable for us.
They're not
obviously.
likely going to give it that name.
No,
in the
they're
United
not.
States.
But
I don't know who would pick it up. I sure hope it's
Sharpie
Happy Camper.
Scribblers. Like, I mean, it's just got to have
Right.
a better name for us. but it is a lot more fun than you sort of
Yeah.
think on first sight.
Right.
What do you think, Lincoln?
I think it's great. Same reaction. I'm like, another drawing game. But as soon as I saw the cover, I'm like, oh, I get it. And I
The
thought,
cover helps.
you just understanding what is going on, you're like, this is really fun. And the challenge of coming up with something in the game we played, Benita did a piece of luggage that
Yeah.
Nikki didn't recognize, but
Oh,
I didn't
man.
either, by the way. I just didn't have to make that decision. Nikki had
Yeah.
to make that decision.
I know.
But what I love about it is that you have these cards, and there's two for every player that is drawing.
Yes.
So all you have to do is just remove one you think is not there. You don't actually have to be too, it's only the last person that gets, is stuck on the precipice where you have to make sure you pick the one of the two. Now, if you did all the rest correctly, then hooray, it's not too hard. You just have to, it doesn't even have like a rank like just one has, like how well you did based on how many cards you had left. You just have to do, I can't even remember.
You try not to get the number of incorrect answers of the
As
number,
the number
of
of players,
players.
yeah.
Yes. It's not as easy as you think.
Yeah, it's amazing, and I really had a really fantastic time playing it, and we played it quite a few times now. What do you think, Mike?
So the Crackle Oracle was the game of the 6 I was the most excited to learn about, and I was less excited after I played. I feel it's a party game. I don't mind the drawing parts of it. I'm not good at drawing. You saw my water lily that I did. It takes the aspect, so that you're not allowed to talk and discuss when you're
Okay.
picking the.
Did you do Water Lily when we played it? At
Oh
the
yeah,
BGG?
that's when I showed Aaron.
He's got a picture.
Because
of
I'm
it
like,
still.
wait a second, I remember your
It's
Water
really
Lily.
bad. It's really bad.
Did you do the same thing again?
No, but
No,
I
he
had
just has it
I'll show you.
saved.
I like the social aspect. I like the communication aspect, and the game takes it away. You can talk about it after, but you can't talk during, and that just sours it for me. I will play it, but it's not as exciting as I thought it was going to be.
Well, why don't you take us to Bomb Busters then? I know you like
I
this
will
one.
explain before we get there. My choices were what was it? It was table tennis or basketball.
basketball.
I had the blocker of basketball, and I chose it because I thought he was doing alley oop, and I got it wrong.
I
So
had a fantastic
Perfect.
illustration for table tennis, and he blew it.
I blew it.
I
blew
did the
it.
same thing in the game we played, and everybody's like, "Oh, I knew exactly what it was when I saw it."
Except for the dotted lines, I couldn't make my table as cool as I wanted to. It's just a
Okay.
tiny little square in the corner.
Yeah.
So the game helped.
Well, wait till you watch our video. You can compare my table tennis to your table tennis.
So Bomb Busters is a cooperative deduction game. I think the mechanics are great. You are working together as these cute little rabbits not to blow up your bombs. You have blue wires, yellow wires, and the red wires. You work together, and you have try to work together on different missions. As it says, there's 66 missions on Bomb Busters. You start with mission 8, which is your introductory mission. You can even go lower if you want to have an easier game or less mechanics to build yourself up. If you don't have the expertise yet, or if you want to get new players into a deduction game, you can start
Right.
with just blue wires and then go on and go move up. I like it a lot. There's a lot of cool mechanics in there. It's a little harder to teach. You need I think you need a guide to help you. You need someone that's experienced to teach and to set up the game. There's a lot going on to set up, but it's straightforward once you get to that point. And I also like that there's a 2-player mode that may be a little too easy. Aaron and I played it a couple times. It might be a little too easy, but it's interesting that it can play 2 to 5.
What do you think, Nick?
All right. The first time I played it, I was confused. And I didn't quite get it. The second time I played it, I had a better teach, and I got it.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah,
good job.
this person.
Thank you.
And I totally understood what I needed to do, and it was great. And I really ended up enjoying the game quite a bit. The first time I played it, I thought it was a little weird and hard to figure out what you needed to do to help the people with you. And the second time, I totally understood what I needed to do to help the people around me. So I think I've only played the basic. I haven't gone any further into any of the missions. I think
we did up to 8. We didn't do all of them, but we did like 3 and 8 on our episode or something like that, right, Mike?
We graduated Bombbuster School or
Right,
something.
we did,
but
and we did it.
Final Academy Day.
Right, we did talk about
Right.
the spoilers, which we won't do
Right.
here, but the next mission's exciting. There's more stuff that gets added.
In the field.
Yeah. What do you think, Aaron? Another game you just recently
Another
played.
game I also just recently learned, and like Crackle or Rackle, I think it's very hard to judge it from the rules. I do a lot of teaching here, so I read the rules to most games before I play them, whether I'm going to teach them or not.
Sure.
And I read the rules to Bombbusters a month or two ago, and so I got, okay, it's a deduction game, and you're trying to, but it was so hard to grasp how the game was going to go and how you were even ever going to disarm a bomb just from reading the rules and seeing, well, you only have these 3 options on, cutting your own wires, cutting somebody else's wire with yours, or whatever the third choice is.
Showing your red wire.
That's finishing the game, right.
Or finishing your
your board.
Finishing your board.
So that's it, and then the special stuff. But it was very hard to have any sort of understanding of the game just from reading the rules.
Which is why they have those earlier missions, so you can
so you can
understand
sort of
it,
ease
maybe
into
just
it.
play with the blue and the yellow and then work yourself up. As people that play games, all 4 of us, we didn't play those earlier missions. We did play one earlier one. You miss that type of strategy and expertise you get from playing it. Maybe that's something that someone needs to do on BG, put a player aid, but the idea is that you actually go through each mission and then graduate. Yeah. That's the idea.
Yeah,
like going to
66
school.
missions.
I do think it is. I think it's a fairly complex and stressful deduction game, which is why, and I'm sure we would bring this up, Mike has a good insight, and I know you do too, about why the jury picked this and put it in the SDJ category. But for my personal thoughts,
Right.
I would have made a decision more like this.
Right.
This is
I
a
think
game.
this
This
is
is a
more
game I
advanced, I
can't
think.
teach my family.
Right.
This is a game that
Yeah.
one person who is confused as heck about deduction games or what their move should be to get you to pick the right wire is gonna destroy the whole thing because they don't know what move to make. And yes, maybe you take them through the scenarios one step at a time. But like I was saying to Mike, I could play Flip 7 with my entire family from age 7 to 87. Most of them are never going to play Bombbusters a second time.
I know. It's hard.
It's
hard.
it's just-
You need to play mission 1. It's not approachable.
And that may just be
the first
different
game.
for American game-playing family audiences and German
That is-
game-playing audiences.
I think that's.
I think that is part of it. But it just feels a bit out of place to me in this grouping.
Okay, so Lincoln, what do you think about Bombbusters? To finish this up?
I think it's great. My favorite part of the game is the clue giving. I love, love making that fantastic. Okay, if I do this, they're gonna know. That
Yeah.
this- you know what I mean?
Right.
And I would pick one where I wanted to communicate. I had a bunch of low numbers.
Right.
Boom.
Yeah.
Here's a 4 right near the end. You know that. And I just love that. I think it's one of those games that has a clever thing that makes you feel smart, and that's an important thing in
Yeah.
games, I think. And of all of these games, this one really has that.
Yeah,
You know, it's a phenomenal element that really makes the game fun. And as you get better at it, and it's one of the things I think that the potential of this game as a potential winner, is you grow with the game. Maybe you're right, maybe nobody will play it, I don't know. That last year Sky Team won. Another game that is basically kind of the same thing, where 2 people are working to get to this some point, and then you have all these other missions that landings that are more and more difficult or complex, little things that make it challenging. I have no idea what this game even does. Right?
Mm-hmm.
We've only gone to the 8th. We've graduated from the academy, and I think it's amazing. I think I don't even. I had I think the exact same reaction. I'm like, ugh, another deduction game, right? But this one came and delivered for me. Like I am kind of burned out on deduction games. There's just so many deduction games, but many of them keep coming up with something really cool and make it awesome. This one really does that for me. Now we're going to pick the game that we would choose if we were on the jury.
Right.
What game we would pick to win. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to count down to 3. So we're going to 3 down to 1, 3, 2, 1, and then point. And we'll do that first. And the second thing we're going to do is then choose what we think the jury will pick.
Okay.
This is our personal pick if
Yes.
we were the jury.
Yep. So we're going to do 3, 2, 1. Yeah. Wow, Nikki, you picked Loot.
Nikki went to Loot.
If I was on the jury, yeah.
Sure.
Loot.
Sure, that's your pick.
Yeah.
Nick.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
Since you're on your own on that one, is it what do you think?
Woo!
You know.
I think it's more of a logical step up
Sure.
from the family to this game.
Right. Yeah. Fair enough. Why would you pick it, Mike?
I like Endeavor Deep Sea. It's the type of game I want. It also goes back to the heavier Spiel des Jahres games of in the past, and I would play Endeavor Deep Sea all the time. I enjoy it.
right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm with you guys. I think it's pretty awesome. It's got a lot of, Euro style game systems in it, but it's super broad. Lots of great things going on. I'm very eager to try some of the other levels, which would be amazing. It'd be. I think it has that plus now the potential. I mean, I knew as soon as we played it. Oh, there's going to be expansions for this, and it's a lot of cool stuff that can happen.
Yeah.
Really, really amazing. And I love what it does to the system. Like, it's really, truly great. Mike has got his finger
He's
on the
Ready to go.
He's ready to go.
I want to say, however, that I love this game, and this is the game I would choose to play.
Right.
We can play it.
Most
I'll play with you
certainly.
anytime. Let's play Endeavor Deep Sea right now.
Yeah,
Okay,
let's go.
let's go.
Okay. So this is what we think the jury is
will-
going
yeah.
to pick.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. So let's do it again. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, all different.
Yep.
All
Let's
exciting.
start with you with Faraway.
I just think this is I do think it's the simplest and easiest to teach and easiest to get into. So I think it's going to sell the most games.
That I
think
agree
it
with you,
is-
and I think you're
I
right
think it's
on
best
that.
for the industry, and that's why they'll like
I
it.
had the same kind of reaction. Like, which one would I choose? I just think that this is a game that kind of deserves to be recognized for what's going on
Yes.
here. It's a really great system that is, again, it's a big step, a big step. And I'm probably going to be wrong, but that's cool. I think I know a lot of the jurors would pick this. There's a lot of discussion and things I think that go on with that. So it could be any other ones. What do you think, Mike?
So Nikki and I picked Loot, and I'm
Yeah.
going to say that I agree. I think it's the next step up
Right.
from the family games and the family
Yeah.
weight. I think it's easier to teach. It's straightforward and it's a quicker game. I love Endeavor Deep Sea, but I think it's 2 on the high end. I think Loot will be their choice.
Right.
No more games about Vikings.
Okay.
There's too many.
What do you think, Nikki P?
Everything that Mike just said.
Yeah.
It's the logical next step up. I think it's something the jury's going to want to choose because of that reason. And if they had a higher up category, I would have.
Well, they do sometimes
I
do,
would
like-
choose Endeavor for that one,
Yeah.
but not for the next step up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So before we move on, so Endeavor Deep Sea, just like, let's say Seven Wonders, they made Seven Wonders Architects. They probably need to make a straightforward or even a streamlined
Shallow
version.
Sea.
That's right.
Shallow
And
Sea.
it could, and
The
I-
Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Endeavor
there's a
the
way
Pond.
to use the
Yes.
mechanics in a more streamlined and quicker game.
That's not a bad
That's
idea.
what they need to do.
Okay. Well, then let's pick what we think will win. What we think we would choose if to win the SDJ here. We're going to do the
Okay.
same thing. Count backwards on 1 point. Okay.
This is hard.
Yeah, I do not know at all.
3 choices.
Again, I think every single one of them has
They're all
a
good
reason
games.
to
all
be
have
They're all good
lots
games.
of
more so than I
strengths.
think
Yes.
these do.
Yes.
Even though I think all these are really cool. This is really a tight category in my opinion. Okay, well, let's do it. Mike's ready. Aaron's ready. 3, 2, 1. This is what you would pick?
Yes.
Okay, cool. What do you think?
Which one are you pointing at, Mike?
I'm Flip 7.
You guys are
Okay.
both flip 7s, yeah. I mean, it's basically everything you've said. I
It's
think.
it's just universal. Everybody
Right.
likes it.
What do you think, Mike?
I love Flip 7. It's easy to teach, and families will play it. My family will play it.
Okay, Nikki, what did
Okay.
you pick? You picked Crackle or Rackle?
No,
or
I picked
both with
Bomb
Bomb
Busters.
Busters, yeah.
I like the idea of a co-op
Deduction.
game. I think that people could team up very easily and have parents help the younger children or younger players in their family, and I just, for a family that wants to play, like really get into playing games, this is more of a game to me.
Right. I'm with you on all that. I'm not sure that they would pick something like this. I do, like I said, I do love the feeling smart thing. I just really love that. I loved it. I don't know what the cutoff, I mean, what do they say here the age ranges are? Do you guys see
Crackle Oracle is 10 plus, and Bomb Busters is, I'm not sure.
14.
8 for Flip 7.
14 plus.
8.
14's up there.
Yeah,
That's
for
14
sure.
is up there.
It is, again, new era of the jury.
Yeah.
It's only 10 plus for Faraway.
Yeah.
They should have swapped them.
It's weird. I don't.
Yeah.
I think.
These are all 10 plus.
14 and 10.
14 and
okay.
10.
Yeah.
Okay, well then now let's pick what we think the jury's going to select. I know I'm really going to struggle in this one.
We can take your time.
I had my mind made up when I
know,
woke
it's-
up this morning.
Yeah, okay. Okay, before you even played.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay. I do not want to do this, but okay.
You can pass.
I'm not going to pass.
You can abstain. You can vote present.
I'm just saying, you can put your disc on your specialist
Right.
and not take your action.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I want to try to.
It's
I
so
want to
great.
try to get this.
I
It
don't
looks
think
fun. Very
I don't
challenging.
think anyone's ever delayed that long. It's great.
It's challenging. I think every one of them has something fantastic to offer.
We will put the 2-minute timer on you for
Yeah,
Crackle
I won't make it
Oracle.
last that long. Okay, so 3, 2, 1.
Wow.
I mean, I'm
Okay.
with you guys on that. I think it's universal.
You go last because you had the most difficult decision to make.
Yeah.
Because I want to hear what your thought process was. I've said all I can say about Flip 7, but when I'm voting as the jury, I vote for sales that are going to increase the scope of the board game industry.
Right.
I think I'm going to give the op guy a joyful heart attack right now. I think Flip 7 could sell 1 million copies.
It's already on its way.
That's what I'm saying.
It's been sold out
just
so
like,
much.
It's a blockbuster.
It's the top of BGG
I went
sales.
to stores looking for it and it was
Yeah.
sold out.
Me too, when I was looking for the smaller
It's huge, and it's going to be this time next year, people are going to be carrying it around with
There'll
them.
be themed decks,
Yeah.
you know.
There'll be
Sure.
Star Wars Flip 7
Yeah.
and Game of Thrones Flip 7.
Yeah.
And, right. Mike, anything else to add about it?
This is on the third version. We've already
Yeah.
made this. We've already seen the little tuck box in the some of the big box stores. So
Sure,
ready to go.
Yep. Nikki
Sure.
P?
So I changed votes
Sure.
for this one. I feel like it's more something that the jury would be choosing these days.
Sure, me too.
And fun, easy to teach, all the reasons you guys gave, including the industry and doing good for the industry. I just think that the jury is... I think they like more of the loud, fun party games these days.
Again, Sky Team wasn't that last year.
See,
they're-
my
they're-
logic is...
They're not easy to predict, that's
No.
for sure. Okay, so you had a very, very tough time making a
Well,
decision.
I want Hisashi to win. I would really like him to win. I think this game
Do you
deserves
think the
it.
jury has a good chance of picking it? That's the real question.
I would say the reason why I went with this is
Flip 7. You want Flip 7?
yeah. I'm sorry. The reason why I went with Flip 7 is because it is quick. It is quick. It handles a large group, and I think it would be a great achievement of theirs to pick something that's that level. Right?
Yeah.
I don't think they've ever picked Uno. I don't
think-
even remember Uno.
Yeah.
But truthfully, I haven't played it in so long.
But yeah, nothing of
picking
that-
a game like that
of
that's
that
just
strike,
forever
yeah.
around is a huge achievement. Now, obviously, Catan is that, and it's grown in popularity over the years. But I think it can't be denied. Right? It can't be denied. I could be wrong. I might be flipped. That flipped over here to this one. I really want this one to win. I really want it to win. Again, and it goes counter to what, but I'm picking what I think the jury would pick.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I think there's a good
But you
amount
took-
of people that
you
will pick this
You
one.
really had a hard time
100%.
moving away
And,
from it.
and guess what? This one too.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
think I think any one of these wins is great. I think this is the one that gets the most, because it's just growing in Germany, right?
Yeah.
Where it's already been going for a while here, nearly a year.
Right, because it came out last year and it was released in the USA first. Yeah.
And I just, as much as I love this, and I feel that it's higher age range, but I feel that you can grow with this one by playing the base levels and stuff like that. I think that this one is really kind of the shoe-in. It has to be. Again, I could be wrong.
We could all be very
yeah,
wrong.
we would, especially if they don't choose
That's
this.
the
We are
whole
all
idea.
wrong.
I know.
Here's the thing. I think
true.
Flip 7 or Crackle Oracle, when it's released in the United States, I could see that at Target.
Yes, exactly.
I see Bombbusters at Target, and I don't know. It's a harder sell.
For sure.
It's a harder sell.
I mean,
maybe
yes.
it needs a little more development in the rework of the rules to get it out to
I think
that
the
mass
jury, I don't know what they want anymore.
I don't
You know,
either.
I know that one of the things was to be on a popular game that sold well, right?
Right.
It does well for the award to.
Sure.
I mean, I don't really know what happened with. We've mentioned it before with Dominion, where that was the last. You know, that was I think the last year that they did one that did not have a Kenner, and a
yeah,
lot
I
of
think
people
so.
felt that should have been a
Right,
Kenner.
right.
Yes.
I don't know. Yeah, you know, I would say yes, and then absolutely that should have been a Kenner that year. So I feel that they want to have a separation. Again, I don't think last year's answer was that. I don't think Sky Team is an easy game to even grasp. Right? Like it's too easy to foul up, and they picked it. So who knows? But I'm super happy that this is truly one of my favorite years. All of the games, I didn't care for the kids game, Die Mausbahn. I didn't care for it, but I was initially. But then I really enjoyed
Then
it.
when we played it again.
Amanda gave the things that she would pick. She couldn't
yeah.
be here because she's away, and she picks Flip 7. She picked Endeavor as the Kennerspiel, and she picked Cascadia Jr. as the Kinderspiel. So
Okay.
I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you have some of your choices. Why don't you tell us in the comments what you think should win? And you could do both. You could tell us what you would pick and what the jury would pick.
Or what else should have been nominated? What was your best game of
There's
the
a
year that
ton
you
of
were
great
nominated?
games that should have been. I mean, there were a lot of games. If you look at the recommended list, there's a bunch
There's
of
a
great
lot of
stuff.
good
A lot of
stuff on
good
there
ones,
too.
too.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for joining us, and thanks to Gamegenic for sponsoring our show, and I hope to see you guys the next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.